guys, welcome back to this place. If you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, and today we are watching season 1, episode 8 of Dark. I am so excited to delve back into this mystery. I love this show. I can't express it enough. I say it every single episode, but it has completely captivated me. And as soon as I end one episode and talking about it, I always immediately want to start the next episode. There's sometimes I'm I need a 10-minute break to process. But usually I'm just let's go. I'm so excited. So last time, what did we have? We had more of Padre Noah being super creepy. Now, we also had, at the end, what was written on the wall. He has to be the serial killer. But what was written on the wall was November 5th, 1953 and November 9th, 1953. Which, as, we know because of basic math, is 33 years before 1986, which is 33 years before 2019. So I assume, based off the fact that this happens in 33-year cycles, that the victims in 1986 were from 1953. I also think that that's where Helge came from, but that's just my theory. I could be way off on that. Now, there's also what was I going to say? Anyway, sorry. This is an intro. So we also know that something happens at 7:47 on November 12th because of the last episode and the index book itinerary. That's not the right word. I used that word last time too. Anyway, so keeping my eyes peeled for November 12th. We'll see what happens. We had confirmation, sort of, that weird thing. I don't know what you call it, a storm cellar on Peter and Charlotte's property is where the Blue Room at some point was located, or at some point in time is located. So that's interesting. We also learned that Jonas is very important and that he plays a bigger role in everything than he knows. And what is everything? We don't know exactly, but that's why he didn't get Mikkel and bring him back to 2019, because he listened to the stranger, aka what I like to call him, a Birdman. We also had Ulrich figure out, because of Mads, that there is something going on with time travel, at least to some extent, and he knows that Helge is involved in it, also to some extent. So he, at the end of the last episode, was following him into Winden Caves, which we're just going to have to see how that plays out. And the only way we can do that is by pressing play. So I'm going to stop rambling. Let's get into it. Oh, what? Are they little boys? Oh, fucking hell!
Sind die noch Kinder?
Yeah.
Sieht seltsam aus. Als hätte sie jemand verkleidet.
No, they're probably from 1986. Where the fuck is Ulrich gonna go? Because if he goes left, then he goes into the past, right? Or future, maybe? Because Jonas went right, and then he went to 1986. So if he goes left, does he go into the future? He's going left. I guess we're gonna find out.
33. Ist aber mehr als das. Sie begegnet uns überall. Jesus hat 33 Wunder vollbracht.
Oh yeah?
33 Litaneien der Engel. Dantes 33 Lieder an das Fegefeuer. Und 33 an den Himmel.
Und es ist das Alter, in dem der Antichrist seine Herrschaft beginnt.
Is it? It's very religious. We're going to religious symbolism again.
Mach dir mal nicht in die Hose. Deinem alten Herrn quillt der Zaster doch aus den Ohren.
What is wrong with these people?
Hier ist jemand. Los!
It's Ulrich! So he's in 1953. Well, you found Helge.
Muss sich wehren. Sonst hören die nie auf.
Die sind doch viel stärker als ich.
Dann beißt du beim nächsten Mal eben einfach zu.
That was who you were looking for, though. Just not when you were looking for him.
Mein Name ist Agnes Nielsen. Und ist mein Sohn Tronte. Wir sind neu in Winden.
Oh, that's his grandma.
Tronte, komm, sag dem netten Mann guten Tag.
So his dad is gonna be like a kid, right?
Guten Tag.
Du bist Tronte, Nielsen. Und Sie sind Agnes Nielsen.
Ja?
Stellen Sie sich vor, Sie würden in die Vergangenheit reisen und dort auf Ihren Vater treffen, noch ehe er Sie gezeugt hat.
Right.
Entschuldigen Sie die Frage. Aber welches Jahr haben wir?
1953.
1953.
Würden Sie mit dieser Begegnung bereits etwas verändern?
It's a question of
Ist
time
überhaupt
travel, isn't it?
irgendwas veränderbar?
Ist alles in Ordnung mit Ihnen?
Oder ist die Zeit ein Biest, das auf ewig besteht und nicht bezwungen werden kann?
Sind Sie Helge Tannhaus?
Oh, that's him.
Der Helge Tannhaus?
Ja, nein, da wird doch nicht derselbe aus.
Wow. That book was written later, I guess.
Man hat auf der Baustelle von Butler 2 Leichen gefunden. 2 kleine Jungen. Die wurden von Außerirdischen entführt. Für Experimente.
Was ist mit Reden?
Oh, okay, don't be aggressive with children, Ulrich.
Über die Außerirdischen? Die Polizei hat heute Morgen 2 tote Jungen gefunden.
He left his jacket. Is that the jacket that Birdman is wearing? So is it the same jacket?
Kennen Sie einen Doppler? Helge Doppler?
Den Jungen von Bernd Doppler.
Nein, nein, nicht jung. Alt, etwas hitzig.
In alt gibt's nur Bernd Doppler.
Bernd Doppler vom AKW. Bernd ist Helges Vater.
Richtig?
Uh-huh.
Halt! Warten Sie! Hey!
Aber Sie
Okay. I'm trying to keep up with everything.
Ich
Sorry
möchte verstehen, ob ich Sie
if I'm quiet this episode.
ob alles eine Bestimmung hat. Wenn ja, wer über diese Bestimmung bestimmt?
It's a good question.
Zufall? Gott? Oder sind wir selber? Sind wir überhaupt frei in dem, was wir tun?
So he wants to know if free will is a thing.
Ewig neu in einem immer wiederkehrenden Kreislauf. Und wir folgen den Gesetzen der Natur und sind nichts als Sklaven von Raum und Zeit.
Interesting.
Und solange ein Wurmloch existiert, besteht eine geschlossene Zeitschleife.
Closed time
Bedingt
loop.
sich alles miteinander.
Okay.
Nur die Vergangenheit beeinflusst die Zukunft,
But is influenced by the future.
sondern auch die Zukunft die Vergangenheit. Das ist wie bei der Frage nach dem Huhn und dem Ei.
Okay.
nicht mehr sagen, welches von beiden zuerst da war.
So, because of the wormhole.
Alles ist miteinander verbunden.
Die fallen einfach so vom Himmel. Kommst einfach so runter. Ich sammle sie nur. Sie sind so schön, wenn sie tot sind.
Alright, that's a bit of a creepy thing to say, child. I don't like that. Helge?
Aber du wirst mal was tot machen.
Well, we don't know. I don't think that he did it.
Die beiden Jungs auf der Baustelle. Mein Bruder.
Well, I don't think that that's him. I think it's the priest.
Mein Sohn.
I think it's the priest, and
Jetzt aber später.
Mikkel is actually in 1986. Ulrich, do not hurt this child.
Weißt du? Ich kann
Ulrich.
die Vergangenheit ändern. Und die Zukunft. Wenn es dich nicht mehr gibt, wird das alles nicht passieren.
It's weird that Helge said that exact same thing. I can change the past and the future, right? Ulrich, you cannot kill a child. Ulrich, I mean, Helge exists in the future though, so I'm confused. Is that how he gets hurt? Please do not do this. Are y'all gonna hook up? Here for it, honestly. Where is the dog? Where is Gretchen? Did the mom kill the dad because he was hurting the child? Because also here for that, honestly.
Ein Schicksal geknüpft an das nächste.
Oh, okay. I just saw your picture, and I can't remember who you were.
Eröffnet ein Portal, durch das man 33 Jahre in die Vergangenheit und 33 Jahre in die Zukunft reisen kann, ja.
Okay.
Und das Wurmloch, durch das Sie gekommen sind. Hat das der Apparat gemacht?
Nein. Vor wenigen Monaten gab es einen Störfall im Kernkraftwerk und dabei ist Energie freigesetzt worden. Und der Apparat ist jedenfalls in der Lage, den gleichen Prozess zu wiederholen.
Okay, so the power plant created the wormhole.
Nein, ich will das Bestehende zerstören.
Oh.
Ich möchte, dass Sie jetzt gehen.
Why?
Diese Stadt ist wie ein Geschwür. Und wir sind alle Teil davon, aber ich kann das ändern. Ihr Apparat kann das ändern.
Gehen Sie.
Why?
Gehen Sie jetzt.
Why does he want him to leave? Cell phone. Those do not exist yet. You really fucked up, Ulrich. So how it's gonna end. Alright. So far, I haven't really had an issue following the story and like making sure I see everything and also read the subtitles because I do read quickly, so that's usually not an issue for me. But in this episode, this is the first episode where I was struggling a little bit because I'm trying to put everything together, and all of the scenes with Townhouse and Birdman / The Stranger where they're talking about time and the wormhole and black holes and white holes, I think, and all that stuff was interspersed between everything else. Like, it was just a lot to try to keep up with. And so I feel like this episode I would honestly want to watch again, maybe, because I feel like I definitely missed something when I was trying to write down information to piece stuff together. So, one, because it fucking shocked the shit out of me, I have to talk about Ulrich and what he did to Helge. It's like, I understand, because he's so convinced that Helge is the one who killed Mads and those other boys, and he thinks he killed Mikkel, and he thinks that he's trying to stop these horrific things from happening. And so he does make the choice to hurt this child because he thinks, I'm stopping it before it happens. So I'm saving my son and my brother and all these other people, which I wish that he, like, knew more, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he was like, I'm relatively certain that you're the perpetrator, and then he made that choice. Like, personally, for me, if I was going to make that choice, which don't know that I could, I would need, like, irrefutable proof. You know? Like, I would need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, no, so sure that this was the person who did that. Because, I feel like he didn't know well enough to make such a harsh fucking choice. And it, like, I get that he's blinded by grief and fear, and he's acting on pure instinct, and he's just trying to save these people that he loves, and he's just sheer desperation, right? It's just sheer desperation, grief, fatigue, you know, all of these things clouding his better judgment, clouding his ability to be logical and to think things through and to, you know, do what police are supposed to do and, like, find evidence and follow the evidence and, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt and all that stuff. So, like, I understand why Ulrich made such a fucked up bad choice, but I also, as an audience member, have knowledge that he does not. And I also just realized that, like, because of the knowledge that I have, which again, he doesn't, know that he could be creating this loop of violence with the choice that he made. Since time is not linear and time is a circle, his choice to inflict that violence upon Helge could be the precipice for future violence inflicted upon the kids that are being found now. You know? So, I don't know. Like, I still don't personally think Helge is the one who is doing it, right? Like, I think that he is a party to it. I think that it's Padre Noah. I think the priest creep has something to do with it. And this, because of this episode, I'm also like, is he supposed to be the Antichrist? Like, are we just casually bringing up the Antichrist? Like, I don't know. There was so much religious sort of ideology and symbolism in this episode, and of course the fact that we have a fucking priest in this show makes me immediately relate any sort of religious symbolism to him. So is Padre Noah supposed to be the Antichrist? Like, I don't fucking know. But I don't know. It's really interesting because it seems like what I'm understanding that Birdman / the Stranger is saying is, now I don't know like where Townhouse is, like if he's in 2019 or not. But I think that based off of what Birdman is saying again, is that at some point something happens with the nuclear power plant that causes a reaction, which creates the time loop where you can only go either 33 years into the future or 33 years into the past. Now, if Birdman is from... Wait. I was going to say, if he's from the future... So they're stuck in this... I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But they're stuck in this loop. So what he's saying is that something... Because of the loop... time is getting like fucked up, right? So like the series of events is getting fucked up, so it's making the future fucked up because of the things that are happening in the past, because Wyndon is stuck in this wormhole, which is kind of like this loophole of the past affecting the future, affecting the past, affecting the future, affecting the now, affecting, you know what I mean? It's like this endless sort of cycle of shit that keeps getting worse because of the loophole that they're kind of stuck in, which is making time affect itself. Does that make sense? And then if they close the loophole, which the nuclear power plant generated, if he can close it, then time should reset itself, right? And then it will be more linear again. Like the past won't, and the future won't be affecting the past, which won't be affecting the future, and vice versa, right? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Okay, so yeah, they did say white hole. I was like, I've not heard of that. Apparently it's just like the opposite of a black hole. Okay. So, okay. Sorry, you guys. All of that probably got cut, but thank you to Billy for sifting through all of that. I went back and I was trying to look about the outfits that Eric and Yasin were wearing in the previous episodes to see if I could tell for sure that those were their bodies that were found in 1953 at the nuclear plant, and they were. So what does that mean exactly? I don't know. It means that unfortunately both of them are dead. It means that their parents probably won't ever get closure. Yeah. Now, exactly what the 33-year cycle, the wormhole, the serial killer, what those deaths have in common, I'm not exactly sure yet, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. I know that whatever it is, 33 is apparently like super important. They talked about it in regards to a lot of different things, religious sort of symbolism, like angels, the age of the Antichrist, other things. I don't remember exactly everything that they said, but 33 is apparently a very important number. So we're going to jot that down, try to remember that. You know, I probably have no idea why, but yeah. I also think that it's really, I think it's really interesting that Birdman is sort of bringing up this idea of free will, and how Townhouse is saying that scientists sort of think that it's an illusion, right? Like he said something about like science will say, or no, not that free will is an illusion, sorry, but, well, kind of, because he was saying that science was saying that, or a scientist would say, if you traveled back in time to meet yourself, then you wouldn't really affect anything. Like, we like to think that one tiny moment of like us interacting with the past or whatever would affect things, but it wouldn't necessarily. However, because they're stuck in like a loop because of the wormhole where time is a circle, does that mean that it is affecting things so that everything from the past affects the future and affects the present? Is it only because they're stuck in this loophole, or would that be true regardless? You know, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what stance they're taking on it. I swear it seemed to me, and I'll keep talking while I look at this, but it seemed to me like he was saying that it doesn't affect it, but also, like, how could it not affect it? Like, how could you interacting with a past version of you not affect anything? You know, even if time weren't stuck in like a wormhole, wouldn't it still make sense that it would affect things? Casual determinists believe that there is nothing in the universe that has no cause or is self-caused. Casual determinism has also been considered more generally as the idea that everything that happens or exists is caused by antecedent conditions. Okay, so people who believe in casual determinism don't believe in free will? I'm confused. I feel like I looked this up to make myself less confused, but I didn't. I'm not trying to, like, it keeps looking at everything that's like, what do people find incompatible with casual determinism? But it's like, okay, it's a philosophical view. I honestly don't know if I fully understand still, like, what that is. So is it just the belief that our actions... Okay, so casual determinism is like, our actions don't matter because they don't affect, like, the grand scheme of the universe, right? Like, us believing that talking to a past version of ourselves would change the future is like us placing too much importance on ourselves, but like the course of events aren't going to be changed by us. Like, we can't change what's going to happen anyway, I think. Anyway, it's a weird scientific thing to think, but I don't know. I'm curious as to like what... I honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I completely forgot where I was going with that train of thought. So I'm just going to go with where I'm going now, and maybe that's where I was going, and we'll meet somewhere, but it might not be. I just feel like it doesn't make sense that interacting with your past self would not cause you to change something and therefore change the trajectory of your life and therefore possibly change the trajectory of other people's lives, right? Because, like, if I could go back in time and tell myself certain things to avoid certain moments to, like, make a different choice, I would, but presumably that would then affect other things in my life, and I might not be sitting here talking, right? Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand exactly that idea. But I also think that it's really interesting, this idea of this loophole through time that the wormhole is. And I'm just saying loophole. They don't actually, I don't think they actually say loophole, but that's the way that I can make it make sense in my brain. But because of the wormhole, time isn't progressing as it should. So, like, things are being affected by things that have not happened and have happened and are currently happening. So I think it's really interesting because they also compared, like, in a wormhole saying this thing happened before this thing is like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? You don't know what caused what and what came first. Even if it's like past, present, future, you're not sure because of the wormhole and the way that like fucks up things, how stuff happens. Which makes sense with Dark, because there's been times throughout the show so far that we've seen things happen, and I assumed that we were seeing them just out of order, so not in the way that they happened. Like when we saw the Birdman, aka the Stranger, check in to the hotel room in episode 2, but the key was already missing in episode 1. So I'm like, we're just not seeing things in a linear way. But I guess I was thinking of it too literally. Maybe things aren't even happening in a linear way because of the nature of the wormhole that Wyndon is stuck in, because of whatever happened or will happen or is happening at the nuclear power plant that causes the wormhole to open. Yeah, I still don't know how Peter has to do with it. Still don't know how Trant has to do with it. Still don't fully understand Helge's part in it. But like, we're slowly starting to see stuff coming together. Now, all we've really seen Padre Noah do so far is stand there and do a creepy little fucking smirk and be creepy. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see more of him at some point. Maybe understand more of him. Is he the fucking Antichrist? Are we going to go with that in this show? Like, I don't know. I don't know where we're going or how we're going to get there. I'm quite interested to see, because, like, what a random sort of interesting thing to bring into it if they do go that route. But even if they don't, like, what a strange sort of idea to bring into it anyway, you know. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I still cannot get over the fact that Ulrich picked up a fucking rock and tried to murder a child with it. Again, regardless of his reasons, which I can kind of understand, like, I cannot fathom picking up a rock and doing like that. Just, I really was not expecting that from him. I thought that he was going to get close, and then when push came to shove in that moment, he was gonna hesitate and like realize this is fucked up and not do it. But that did not. He hesitated, and then thought, yeah, this is the fucking correct course of action and I'm gonna do it. He's gonna go back to 2019, and Mikkel's still gonna be in 1986, and Helge's gonna be all fucked up in his face, and he's gonna know that he did that. But it's not gonna change anything. Eric and Yasin are still gonna be dead. That kid from 1953 is still gonna be dead. Also, this is a random tangent, but Agnes and, hold on, was her name Doris? I think her name's Doris. Is it a romance? Are we seeing a romance there? Did I completely misread the situation the first time? I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I like to read too much into things sometimes, so could be completely off base, but that would be really interesting. And I need to know what happened to Gretchen. Is she just in 1986, 2019, living her best little doggo life? She better be. What else? Was there anything else I wanted to say? Oh yeah, that's what. I'm a dumbass. I wanted to see who that was. Like, we saw her on the wall, and then when they showed her again, I had already forgotten who she was, because I'm dumb. Claudia is putting it all together. But how and why? I'm almost positive that it's the same lady. So Claudia is down there at some point putting it all together. She knows something though, right? Claudia, because she ran the power plant after burn. So she knows something. What do you know, ma'am? Ma'am, what do you know? Also, is that a cute little rabbit hanging back there dead? I don't know. As always, I am super curious as to what is going to happen next. I loved this episode yet again, although I do not think I will ever be able to look at Ulrich the same again. Because, yeah. Anyway, if you guys are interested in watching the next episode, you can right now over on Patreon. Excuse me. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode and every single episode thus far of Dark. That is over on Patreon as well. And I hope to see you guys next week for episode 9. We are almost done with season 1, which is crazy because I feel like I just started watching this show. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Stay healthy. All of the things.